Okay, so welcome to the India market review for 9th of January 2015, or the week that has completed so far, done by Anglo Investors Club every week on Friday evenings. So we look at what's happened or transpired in the market technically in the last 1 week, and what are the things that could happen in the week ahead. So broadly speaking, as far as I know, so of course we have the new year, nothing great as far as the market itself is concerned. And we have this France murders, and though not commercial in aspect, this could lead to policy and economic changes in the weeks and months to come, as France and Western countries start to reevaluate how they want to deal with issues like this. And who knows, they may put in things place like America has done after 9/11, make things more difficult, and they could be, I'm just very broadly speculating, economic and market related consequences to this. Right now it looks pretty far off, but we never know. So that's something which is ongoing. And then today of course was INFI results, and the INFI stock went up handsomely, 45% or something, and we are basically in the results season, right? So that's what is going to basically drive the market. And the other thing is the upcoming visit by Obama, and whether that could cheer the markets, and if any landmark agreements get signed. So things like the nuclear deal which were done in 2008 have basically stalled, and many other things. But if that does sort of move ahead, or the other deals which get signed, then we never know what the impact of that on the markets would be. So of course this is on 25th and 26th, we're still about 2 weeks away, but that is something to sort of prepare for. So broadly, I think that's all I can think of in terms of broad events. And of course, if there is something, then I think today Vistara took off. So finally, Tata Group is back into aviation after I think almost 60 years. It will be a proud moment for Ratan Tata for sure, and might shake up the airline space, and we'll see how that pans out. Okay, so with that, let's jump into our regular chart review of the markets, and we will start with the Nifty first as usual. And been an interesting day, the Nifty. This is today's candle, big volatility, or not volatility, but big up and down movements on it. A high of 8303 and a low of 8190. So 110 points down, 110 points up. So that's not just how would we say, intraday. It's not just one time, but it's done this quite a bit. So you can see in this chart how there was a double dip in the Nifty through the day, and just probably after the, I'm suspecting, INFI results came. This was before the INFI results came, and then after the INFI results came, big dip, and then later on at 2 o'clock, I'm not sure what this event was, again a big dip, and then after that 100 point rally almost. So quite a lot of movement in the market today, probably event driven, etc. So I think that will be the nature of the markets moving forward. That is a lot of intraday volatility that traders will have to be aware of, and this could really, make profitable trades in the morning become loss making in a few hours, and then again the other way around in the next few hours. So that's how these things tend to work, and that's probably the theme of the market for the next few weeks at least, which is a lot of volatility, event driven things that will happen. Other news that I'm looking at right now is this. government may exempt ONGC and Oil India from fuel subsidy. So basically, which means that ONGC and OIL may need not have to pay or take burden of that subsidy, which is going to be excellent news if this actually comes through. And um, you know, they're definitely a good thing for both these companies in terms of them having a lot more cash that they don't have to pay out as part of their share of the subsidy burden. So this is, I think, the key chapter here. Subsidy burden on upstream oil companies, ONGC and OIL, has increased from 32,000 to 67,000 crores, and ONGC paid 56,000 crores subsidy. This has significantly constrained the capacity of these companies to increase their exploration, because this is the amount of money that they're giving away to the government. And if this is money that they will not have to give now, then you can see that that's almost $8-9 billion that stays within the company, which is a huge plus for these companies. So we'll have to look at how ONGC might have reacted to this, right? So that's another big news. There is, as far as I know, really nothing other big thing that I can see. So let's just move on to the individual stocks and sectors. Right, so you should be able to see the Nifty now, and what you basically see is the big doji formation today. So lots of bulls and bears, and it is in this critical zone of around 8,100 at the lower end and 8,400 at the upper end, where it's really not able to make up its mind as of now as to what it may want to do. In terms of indicators, they are definitely showing some amount of strength, absolutely no doubt about that. The Nifty MACD is still, however, below zero and doing a sort of multiple crossovers in that zone. We'll just have to wait and see how that works out. So really, as far as the Nifty goes, it's going to be very tricky to trade this till either it breaks above 8,400 or it breaks down below 8,050 or even 8,000. Just for future reference, we'll keep this number. All right, so these are the two levels, 8.4 on the top and 8,000 at the bottom, which it has to close above either of these two, above this, above 8.4 or below 8.1 or below 8, for us to actually take a definitive call on the Nifty. Till then, I'm going to just wait and watch and not necessarily unnecessarily take high risk trades. That's as far as the Nifty is concerned. Individual stocks and sectors, however, could have a different picture. So coming to Bank Nifty now. So Bank Nifty showing a red candle today, and the MACD has been cooling off for the last several weeks. So a lot of iffy situations, I think, happening in the banking space, and again nothing much here till it breaks above 19,000 or it breaks below 18,000. There's nothing that should be done on the Bank Nifty overall, but individual banks again could have a different story. BSE Power, so as you can see, again another red candle, nothing much happening. Indicators also center lined and ranged in the center, really no direction until 2200 gets broken out. Really nothing that can be done on the power side. BSE Realty, so DLF I think fell quite a bit today. Not sure if there was any news, but so we had this recovery yesterday, and I think in one of the mentorship sessions that I did yesterday, we had talked about how these yesterday's pullback were actually shallow, and well, today we've got a big red candle. So that again, not yet a convincing buy, though we could tentatively put this trend line, and once it breaks above 1650, then Realty could definitely be a place to be invested in for perhaps many weeks or months, but that may take some time. Okay, next. CNX IT. So CNX IT has made a nice healthy up move. and of course Infosys being a big heavyweight, that's what's made it go up. We'll have to look at see how the other individual IT stocks did, and of course wait for the results before we can make any decision. So this is CNX IT. Then okay, mid cap, we've been saying that there's probably more strength in the mid cap space than the uh, blue chips for some time, and we are seeing this again in the mid cap index and in the Nifty Junior index. So even though Nifty Junior index is a red candle, it has clearly opened higher and uh, showing some strength in the early part of the day, but then closed slightly below yesterday's close today. That's why you have a red candle. Energy, again long lower shadow. So energy index in the energy stocks also showing the sort of volatile behavior that we saw in Nifty. Infra again going sideways till it breaks above 3200 or below. 2900, really not much that we can take a call on the infrastructure space. Pharma, interesting. So some pharma stock has inched up today, and the weakness in the pharma could perhaps be now going away. We have to definitely consider this now. There is also the MACD, which is now sort of flattened out and maybe starting to look positive. So one event risk I think to keep in mind is, as far as pharma goes, the US President's visit. A lot of Indian companies are very big exporters to US, and in case there's some deal brewing in the background about Indian pharma exports to US, then there might be some good news, who knows, that comes out. So the story, the bearish story on pharma that we've been having could perhaps change, but we look at the individual pharma stocks before we reach any more definitive conclusion. So that's definitely a place to watch. One would say that this was a descending triangle with a double bottom and possibly a breakout, but let's see which stock actually contributed to this. So pharma definitely looking bullish compared to the last few weeks. PSU banks going sideways, again range bound till that range breaks this way or that, there's nothing to say. Then we have Nifty, we could discuss that. Let's look at the BSE Auto. Interesting. So the BSE Auto gone up, but it's a filled green candle, and that shows some amount of bearishness intraday. But again, nothing definitive. This is the consumer durable space. This is a nice big rectangle that is being formed, and looks like, you know, once it breaks beyond the 10,000, we could go up easily 800 points, 8%. Looks like more strength is building up in this space than anything else. But till it again breaks out or breaks down, nothing to do except wait and watch. Capital goods very tentatively poised at this resistance level of 15,600. If it breaks above 16,000, then I think we can expect a bigger move. Having said that, there's already some longer term strength that is potentially there, and that is the line to watch. So we are more or less just at that trend line, and if that trend line breaks out, then or rather the market breaks out of that resistance line and follow this trend line, then the capital goods space is definitely something which we could expect to see going up in the weeks ahead, right? Okay, so that is capital goods. And then FMCG, so after the big move here, basically on account of HUL yesterday, and again HUL went up today, but FMCG showing a doji. Interesting. but staying above the trend line. Healthcare showing some strength. Metals, okay, so very critically poised at a multi-year support resistance at 10,700, and it has to really decide what it wants to do and whether it will break out of that or not. As of now, whatever strength was there is now missing, and we should remove that line and wait for a definitive move one way or the other. Mid cap, again we said there was strength. Oil and gas, we finished that. PSU stocks, right, really doing nothing much. Okay, so I think yeah, that's about it. And we are back to the bank nifty. So pharma, sign of strength. But getting weak. Metals below multi-year resistance. Other indices sideways. IT very up. Okay, so that's the overall sector review. And now let's look at individual stocks. Starting alphabetically in Nifty, so we have ACC, and well, ACC is still very much poised along that neckline that we have been talking about. And if you go back to the weekly chart, you can see the head and shoulder top very clearly there, and the week is now over. What's definitely interesting is this nice weekly lower shadow, and it's not broken down yet, but this is the thing to watch, whether it breaks above that trend line. Remember that it could still go above that and then move up, but till it does that, one should assume that it is in a head and shoulder pattern which has not yet broken down and which could break down at any time in the future. So let me put that back one sec. So what's interesting is the pullback here, and if you go to daily, that is when it happened on the 7th, and again today has been a doji. What's interesting again is the 200-day moving average is just there. You have lots of resistances at 1420, 1430, and only till it's effectively broken out of that can we say the downtrend is over. Till then, it's possible that it could break, and only below 1350 should a trade be implemented. Till then, it should be a wait and watch. Ambuja Cement, sideways, really not much of a call. You can see the low volume showing some withdrawal of participation in the markets. Is obviously maybe waiting for results or something to happen, but on the longer term, this could be a sort of multi-month consolidation which has happened. After going to 225, 240, it's come to 200, stayed there for about 3 months, and then gone from 210 to 230, again come down, but could again break out from 240. We'll just have to wait and watch. Okay, so that is Ambuja. Let's finish Ultratech. So we've been bullish on Ultratech for some time now, saying there's something happening in this company, and the stock has gone up 1 rupee 90 paisa today, though it did go higher, and it has done that on higher volumes, and the indicators are all very healthy in my opinion. So though it's surprising that, on the one hand you have something like ACC looking at head and shoulder top on the multi-month charts, and Ultratech on the other hand, which is actually being quite bullish. So company specific news probably, and it's not something specific to the sector, and the only thing to do is wait and watch and see. Once Ultratech breaks out of 28, 25, then I think at least 3,000 is easily coming, and then probably well beyond that. Going back to the beginning of the list, so we are now looking at Asian Paints, and on Asian Paints there's been a breakout of the life high yesterday on good volumes, a retracement today on low volumes, and this is perhaps an opportunity to buy for a longer term in trader, or even definitely for an investor. The selling point will be only below 750, 740. For a trader it could be below 775, but it's very feasible it could just come down. There's a whole cluster of support here and then go back up. I would think that this has the potential now of going to 900 and perhaps even 1,000 rupees in the next few weeks. It's not something that will happen in days. It will take weeks to happen, and you need to be prepared to ride that out, right? So Asian Paints is a buy. Then coming to banks in alphabetical order, so we have Axis Bank, which has really not been able to cross 500 in any meaningful manner and stay above that. So 500 has sort of become one, I think, psychological resistance for this. Every time it goes there, it doesn't really stay there, gets sold off, and today also it's been sold off, and the volumes have been picking up a little bit. Having said that, this is the level to watch. Until that breaks, there's really nothing much to say. If that breaks, however, this would be a sort of unusual head and shoulder top with a big right head. As a matter of fact, it becomes almost like what is called a expanding triangle. And expanding triangles, well, according to Doe theory, not very good to see, and if they break down, then we'll have to see carefully what happens if it comes to 470 and it breaks down below that. But for now, 515, 520 is definitely a good resistance on Axis Bank. Bajaj Auto, so big fall. So the breakdown that we've been talking about for weeks now on Bajaj Auto happened today, and this happened on there was some big bulk deal yesterday, and today's selling has again been on the higher side, and Bajaj Auto clearly broke down. It had been on the trend. We kept warning that this is potentially breaking down today, and it went, beautiful TA actually in terms of this downtrend, went exactly there, and from then got sold off towards this level, which is 2352, and then finally it closed at 2375, a full 74 rupees down, right? So if one had the patience and conviction, one would have actually been able to do this trade quite nicely. Bank of Baroda. So I think a lot of banks were going to see this red candle today. We saw it on Axis Bank. They're seeing it in Bank of Baroda. Wait and watch game happening, maybe because of waiting for RBI policy, I think, which is sometime in February, to take the next call or next move in some meaningful manner on the bank's side. So Bank of Baroda 1100, 1125 big resistance, 1000 on the lower side good support, and in a sort of, in a way, rectangle, you can also see the volumes clearly coming down. Bharti, okay, just sitting there as of now, really nothing happening, and once it goes below above 375, then all the way to 400 is quite possible, but then wait and watch. There's also, remember, in the telecom space, the upcoming spectrum auction, and if the price is very expensive, then some of these telecom stocks could easily fall because of that, right? So that's Bharti. Then so just to reiterate, as far as Bharti is concerned, it would be a buy only above 380 and a sell most definitely below 340. Till then, range bound, volumes also not saying too much at this point. Okay. Though on the short term, one is looking at a tentative uptrend with higher tops and higher bottoms. So if one is really looking at let's say the next 1 or 2 weeks, then up is the direction to be looking at as far as Bharti is concerned. Only note the significant resistances above. BHEL, alright, it's exactly at 250 and interesting. So though nothing very significant or meaningful because it is range bound, there is a head and shoulder here, left shoulder, head, and two right shoulders which are there. So we'll have to wait and watch and see how that goes, right? Okay, so that is BHEL. BPCL. So BPCL made a up move yesterday. It's been having this double bottom. That's what it has taken support on. Yesterday it made a nice Marubozu candle, and then again today it has attempted to go up, and the volumes have picked up yesterday, not so much today, and you do have an MACD crossover, and one could expect BPCL to perhaps rise even further from these levels. Next target I think would be around 720 and then all the way to 750, 760, right? So that is BPCL. Then we have Kane. So interesting. So Kane was giving us this double bottom which we had mentioned about 3-4 days back in the mentorship session, and now from there it seems to be going up, and we also had this positive divergence which had already been established. Now the downtrend line is broken. The next important level for Kane is 250, and if 250 breaks out, then could be going all the way to 270, 230. However, the moving averages are pointing down and they will provide some meaningful resistance, so don't expect much higher prices too quickly, and definitely trade on the long side with a strict stop loss, but don't expect massive profits because they haven't really got into an uptrend yet. So the downtrend on Kane for now definitely seems to be over. Next is Cipla. So Cipla head and shoulder formation had broken down and then now has gone up today, and what's definitely interesting is the increase in volume today, which is suggestive of buying that is happening, and one should strictly review any short positions or bearish positions on Cipla now. This is the neckline not breaking down, or after breaking down being retested back and actually breaking out of this downtrend of the right shoulder. So this could actually add a lot of impetus and strength to Cipla, and I definitely would not be short on this anymore, right? So it's interesting how things can change. Here you had a breakdown, then you had support, and now you have a retest of the neckline upside and possibly a breakout. Monday or Tuesday will give us a more definitive answer about if it goes up, then definitely this neckline starts cancelled, but if it were to break down, then that will definitely be a definitive break. So wait for that and then take the call on whatever position you are having or planning to take. Coal India. So what's important and interesting is, so that strike in Coal India got called off, is what I saw, I think, and at 370 it's going to have some really good support all the way even to maybe 350, 355, and from there it is possibly going to go back up to 400, 420. So that is what is there in Coal India. So there was a issue about critical coal levels in some of the eastern power plants. I think that worry now goes away, and with the labor back in at work, then the stock should hopefully react positively. Look for it to come to maybe 370. It's at 375 with about 1.5% down from where it is. But if it crosses 390, 395, then definitely buy Coal India. DLF. So again, nothing in the volumes. So really just a one-off. Very tough to decide what to do with a stock like this when it's not giving any direction, going sideways basically. But if you wanted to play a underdog theme, a recovery theme, a possibility of the budget in the next 8 weeks giving some sort of sops to real estate or infrastructure, and this will definitely be a stock to watch out for, and all those others in the space. Lots of resistance all the way till 160, 165, and you can see this Bollinger Bands squeezing, and only once it's above 160, 165 or below 130, that's when one should take a respective long or short position. Till then, better wait and watch. Again, having said that, if you're bottom fishing in terms of technicals, then this could be a stock you want to add to your demat account, not so much to your trading account. Dr. Reddy's. So Dr. Reddy's moves up, nice big Marubozu candle, and has done that on volume. So after Cipla, we are seeing strength in Dr. Reddy's also, and it's not a small stock. Quite possibly that this stock is going to break out above 3,200 or this resistance of 3186 and then go to 3250, right? Okay, so the two flags we have talked about, this downtrend flag, target met, second downtrend flag, target met, but after some concern for a week, it went back up and then only came back and met the downtrend target, the second one, and now it has clearly bounced up from that, and above 3250 one should definitely be buying Dr. Reddy's. No shorts on with these at all now. Gale, range bound, will skip. Resistance on top, support at the bottom, let it do one of the two, or look at a long strangle, buy the 420 put and the 450 call, and one of those two could just make you some money by the end of the month. Gold, so gold falling again, interesting. Let's go back to 2400, we will know soon enough. Grasim, again range bound, so no comments. So a lot of stocks range bound, all actually very few that we've seen today which are actually in a really good reliable direction. So again, this is till this breaks 3550 or below 3300, then only we'll have to take a call. HCL Tech, again range bound. One thing I should have emphasized earlier, and I hope all those who listen to the recording will remember this, which is that there's going to be basically event driven news on all these stocks in the coming weeks, since this is the quarterly result time, and that's the risk that you have to be prepared for, be willing to take. So either, not either, make sure you have an event calendar in front of you and you know what the events are for the day at least, or for the week before you do the trade, and make sure you're not on the wrong side, or do the transaction only after the result is out and in line with what the charts tell you at that time. So HCL Tech, descending triangle, we'll wait for the result and then take a call. So HDFC, this is also going sideways, as you can see. Maybe something in the banking side, or sorry, on the housing investment and policy side, and or interest rate cuts are what will probably make this stock make the next move. Otherwise, for the last 3 months, 2.5 months, it's been around 1100 plus minus 50 bucks and really not doing anything much. You also have a sort of double top at 1180, and until it breaks out of that, really shouldn't be buying anything on the long side. And on the downside, this is the level of 1050 or 1060 that you really need to watch out for. Okay, all right. HDFC Bank, so that made the new life high today, right? It had done that yesterday. So in the quick market review, we had talked about HDFC Bank going up, has gone up today, sort of a triple top broken out, though unfortunately actually good volumes, good healthy MACD, and should probably be bought now. For a next obvious logical target is 1000 rupees on HDFC Bank. Then Hero Motors, so that's now clinging to this price of 3000. If Bajaj is any precursor, then Hero could also break down. We'll have to wait and watch. Again, waiting for results probably before it decides whether to go above 3100 or below 2900. Hindalco, so at a very critical point of that 1150 rupees, as you know, sitting right there, and multi-year support, that is almost of since 2006, so that's a good 8 years. And if one is really aggressive, one could actually say that there's a good support here and go up, but it will probably be safe to buy it only once it crosses 160 on the resistance on good volumes, and then go long on it. Right now, definitely high risk in going long on this, and can't do short also. You can see the volumes also diminishing very much. Clearly market is not, has no clarity. So if the market is not clear, then how can I or you be clear? So just wait it out. Then we have Hindustan Unilever. Okay, big massive volumes on HUL. So we had mentioned this for the last about 2 days. HUL, after this big volumes, buy. Yesterday also in the short mentorship review we said buy, and you could see this increasing volume happening from around 775 levels for well over the whole of this week, right? So HUL is probably headed to 900, maybe even 1000 rupees in the just maybe not even weeks to come, probably in the next few to many days. So we'll just change that. ICICI Bank, not really doing anything. Volumes actually average, so I don't know. Is bearishness creeping into the banks is the question. Again, you have a double top here. We saw it in some other, I think where I'm forgetting, somewhere else. So banks seem to be having some sort of weakness in the up move, is how I would like to put it. Same thing with IDFC. Remember on IDFC, we just kept saying you should buy this because IDFC Bank will get spun off this year from this, and one would expect to get those IDFC Bank shares when the stock gets, when IDFC Bank gets demerged from this. In the INDusInd Bank, definitely showing strength, and definitely showing more strength than any of the other banks that we have seen, which is interesting. But that sharp move is over. Okay, just remove this. Just wait and watch and see what happens. So around 750 might be a good time to buy if it does come down. But even now, showing some strength. But I think RBI policy plus each of the banks' results is what one should really focus on. Finally, we have Infi. Big move. So obviously the market liked the results, and it has happened on very healthy volumes. We could probably expect a follow through on this in the next few trading sessions, and it going back to you know, what's the price, 21.75 as the next resistance, and I think that was the life high. Yeah, on an adjusted basis that is the life high, and definitely very healthy volumes today. If I could remove this volume here, which I can't, then you would see this big spike in volume. So yesterday the volume was 3.3 million, today the volume is 11 million. Okay, so looks like it's gotten back into the groove, and very important, this window here has been closed. So So that's the window that's been closed, and we keep talking about closure of windows in door theory, and that's exactly what you see here. Next target 2150, 2250, 2500. ITC, interesting. So HUL gone up, ITC range bound has come exactly to this resistance around 365 and then broken down to 355 and has done that on more or less normal volumes and no sign of strength at all. If ITC goes below 355, then 340 can easily be expected. One should actually have a trigger sell order at around 350, 348, and very nice resistance or stop loss around 356 with a target of 340. That's pretty good. And then who knows, maybe even 345. Sorry, once it goes to 340 and below that, then much bigger falls could easily happen. Okay. Jindal Steel. So metals, like I said, some are very critically poised, like Jindalco, but Jindal Steel this is the resistance to watch out for. If Jindal is able to break above 166, 160, 170, then definitely buy. And you have a pretty strong double bottom here in my opinion at around 128, 129. And in case the market were to come back to this, then this could be another potential buying opportunity in the weeks ahead. So we'll have to wait for that. As of now, one would just have to say it's range bound with the possibility of a breakout. Till it happens, be cautious. Kotak Bank, so this has again gone up today. So the merger approval between the shareholder of Kotak and ING happened yesterday, shot up, and then today there has been some follow through buying in that stock. So 1500 quite possible on Kotak is why is this more? Is what I would look forward to, and the way it's been going up for several months now in a very healthy fashion is definitely a strong candidate for much higher prices. L&T waiting for results, I think going sideways and really stuck to this support of 1500, 10-20 rupees beside that side, and then we'll see. Lupin, so Lupin, like other pharma stocks, very critical, very tough to so Dr. Reddy was showing strength, Cipla was showing strength, and Lupin is possibly showing strength. Having said that, however, Lupin seems to be extra weak, while both Cipla and Dr. Reddy had some volumes, and Dr. Reddy especially had a nice candle. This one's MACD is going down, it has not bottomed out. The volumes are just not showing up. So it's still a very iffy thing, and really this is a level to watch for as far as Lupin is concerned, and it says buy only above 1450 if it's on good volumes. Otherwise, even till 1450 or 1440, 1445, it would be a shorting candidate till there. And then if it once it goes below 1400 again, I think it's going to go to 1350 or 1325 quite fast. Then M&M going sideways. You have this rectangle formation which it threatened to break down from, but took support in the 200-day moving average at also 1200 rupees, and then may come back to 1300, and let it actually break down or break out of that, and then we can take the call. Maruti 3400 on the resistance, broke out after I think a favorable re-rating happened on that with a buy report from some global analyst, and now at 3410 as a good support from where it could go back up to 3006 or even 4000 level. So it's been consolidating for a good November, December 2 months and been between 3250 to 3400, 150 rupees. So 3550 could be the next logical target as far as measuring implications are concerned, but definitely has a lot of potential to go much higher. NMDC, National Mineral Development Corporation. So very interesting. MACD crossover. If it breaks below 130, then the downtrend would get accelerated and it will easily go to 125, 120 in quick order. And selling has actually now started to happen on higher volumes, and this up move at the second half of December actually happened on low volumes. Typical classical low theory. Okay, we have VIX, then we have NTPC. So 145, again beautiful illustration of resistance. Once goes to 145 and we just hammered down, but on low volume. It's trying to break out of it, I think. And if one was an aggressive trader investor, one would look at probably buying this, because once it breaks out of 145, then a quick shoot to 160 I think is definitely on the card. Definitely 150, but most probably to 160 in my opinion. And with a sort of inverted or a head and shoulder bottom, there's a left shoulder, head, right shoulder broke out but didn't have follow through. Again, one big, and this whole thing now becomes the left shoulder, this becomes the head, and then it may form a right shoulder, it may not, but if it breaks out, then 160 is a possibility. ONGC, so I don't know if today's news was during market hours about them not having to give subsidy, but you can see the power of these as bottoms. We've been talking about that, we've been talking about MACD, we've been talking about how this was, potentially not going to go down below this support level, and well, today it's gone up, and I think if that announcement of no subsidy carries through, then all the way to 160, 170, and then all the way to 400 is distinctly possible on ONGC stock, right? Punjab National Bank, interesting, some amount of weakness, below 200, short till 190, and only buy above 220. Power Grid, no comments, consolidating. Reliance, 850, again little iffy because of the way it fell yesterday, up move not on such good volumes, so we'll just wait and watch and see what it might do. Having said that, there could be, and if you see this, let me put even monthly, very rare to get monthly. I know it may not, it looks very cluttered, and I don't want to remove these lines because then, yeah, this whole thing, in a sense, a very extended 2-year left shoulder, this whole thing, a 3-year head, and then maybe a right shoulder here of 1 to 2 years, maybe mid 2015 is when we see it go back up. And once it breaks out of that, then you could see a multi-year rally on Reliance, which could last till, who knows, 2020 also. Not to be taken lightly. This stock is clearly consolidating strongly for the long term. So if you're looking at a 5-year picture, I think investment in Reliance would definitely be the one to look at. Nifty, I gave my views, so I'll skip State Bank of India. So that has also gone down with the rest of the banking stocks today. 295 good support, watch for that. If it breaks down at 280, otherwise it has to break above 315 for it to go to 345. Again, reiterating this, quarterly results plus the RBI policy is what you need to be careful for as far as banking stocks are concerned. SSLT, so again beaten down, but volumes clearly coming down. 205. I think it's a wait and watch stock. Below 205, below 200, could short to 195 at least, maybe even 180. But if it breaks out above 225, then definitely buy it all the way for a target of 245, 250. Sun Pharma. Okay, so again, Sun Pharma, another pharma stock showing strength and on increasing volumes. Something cooking in the pharma space for sure. So from months of going sideways or having head and shoulders, there now seems to be reversal that could be going on from the sector being bearish to perhaps now being bullish in the coming weeks and months. Tata Motors. So on 22nd, I think they're launching their new vehicle, the hatchback Bolt. And from all looks of it right now, we are looking at, I think, August 1, 2, 3, 4 months sideways consolidation, followed by a big up move, and once it breaks 540, then we are all the way, I think, easily up to 600. Okay. 'Too early to say, but from the looks of it, yep, could be going up. Also, the other thing to keep in mind with the slight depreciation of the rupee, whether the JLR sales actually now add more profits in terms of rupees for Tata Motors is something to keep in mind. Then Tata Power. So like I said, we need to wait and watch. Nothing happening yet. Tata Steel. Triple bottom, which is in Dow theory says that's a pretty healthy sign, and I would stick my neck out and say maybe one should buy Tata Steel given we've got a triple bottom. Though this triple bottom is actually not very wide apart, but I think the risk is worth taking. Stop loss below 375 and be very, very patient with it because it's not going to really, it's got all these resistances that it's going to have to deal with, and only once it breaks out of all of that will you actually see a big move in Tata Steel. This could take weeks and months, and it definitely becomes a buy above 450, but as of now, at least 12% away. So lots of patience required, but Tata Steel is clearly a potential buy. I would say this is weekly chart. You can't really see the triple bottom in a weekly chart because it all happened over the last 5 weeks. But you have the lows there at more or less the same level. So from a weekly perspective, this is still looking weak, I must say that. But from a daily perspective, there is some very tentative strength which has come into the stock and could be a sweet spot. But honestly, if you are a conservative investor, you would want more evidence before you got into Tata Steel. Okay, then TCS. So we have this head and shoulder that we spoke about, but TCS has not broken that neckline, and as a matter of fact has taken support of that neckline. And though they had this overnight breakdown, then amazing recovery, and today you have this nice Marubozu candle again on good volume. So a rub off from Infosys, Infosys results. So market probably expecting TCS results to be good. I would say technically now that TCS should be bought with a stop loss below 2350, first resistance at 2600, and after that breaks all the way to 2750. So that is as far as TCS is concerned. Then we have Tech Mahindra. So that's also gone up almost back to its life high. Right. So stock after stock in IT is definitely showing strength, but don't forget event risk on individual companies, and this is the window which has not been closed that we will need to keep a track of in the days and weeks and maybe months ahead. Above 2750, this stock is definitely going to 3000 rupees. Ultratech we finished. Now Wipro. So Wipro, funny that it's really not decided what it wants to do, though you have an increase in the price marginally with increase in volume just like any other, and sort of a double neckline which has not been broken down, or rather it was broken down in a recovery, and one would expect that this could shoot back up to 600 after the results are out, given assuming that the results will be in line with or better than expected, and the trend set by INFI continues for the rest of the IT companies. And lastly, in the IT space, in the Nifty, we are looking at Z, and Z has broken down from the support line, big double rounding top, and again because of this huge bulk volume or something, can't do much analysis on the volume, but 1.3 million today versus an average of 1.4 million. So slightly higher volume, and this stock could easily go to 350 in my opinion, right? So that is something to watch out for in Z Limited. So that brings us to the end of today's IMR. So let's put a summary of it. IT stocks showing strength, almost all up with higher volumes. Pharma negative outlook is now cancelled with very positive bias. Stocks to buy are Asian Paints, HUL, Kotak, and what else was that? Yeah, Tata Steel, triple bottom on daily charts. High risk buy. And then what else do we have? Banks, yeah. Banks still starting to look weak on the upside, but also RBI policy, the budget are events to watch for. Alright, so autos, for great. So I think that's it for today's session. If you have any questions, do feel free. Aditya, do you have anything? Yeah, tell me.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Nothing much, sir. Pretty, straight clear.
Okay. So
The thing is, when I draw charts, I usually, draw it on a linear scale. So it slightly,
actually that makes a big
linear
difference.
scale in the sense the price.
Yeah. The y-axis is what you're talking about. You should never draw on a linear scale. It gives you trend lines which are different. It gives you exits which are too steep, too much out. Make sure your default template itself is log scale, because the way stock prices move in India over years, and India being a growth economy, it will not be a wise thing to actually linear scale. And even when what we had spoken about, So even when that's something I wanted to say and I forgot. Yeah, correct. So even when you want to look at charts on the web, when you're looking at some internet site and all of that, make sure the chart there is on a log scale. Otherwise, you will get some erroneous, views as far as um, um, the angles of the trend lines, etc. are concerned. Yeah.
Yep, one nice takeaway from this session today.
Okay, good. And make sure it's a practice for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'll keep a close watch on how things
Yeah,
done.
sure. Done. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Okay. Good.
Thank
so
you.
You have some reviewing to do on your.
Can you just share me the recording too, so that I
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
through it again, because in between there was some technical glitch and I got disconnected and I had to connect.
No problem. So it will come to you around lunchtime tomorrow, because it's a conversion process and uploading that I have to do. So you can expect the link around lunchtime. In case you don't get it, just send me a SMS or something.
Yeah, I'll just remind you.
Sure. Okay. All right. Great. So have a great weekend, and then we'll see how the market does next week, and hopefully we all make some money. Right? Okay. Thank you and good night.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.